France says it's ready to defend Gulf countries and Jordan against Iran if necessary. The Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot with these words this Monday. The French naval base in Abu Dhabi has been struck as part of Iran's retaliation attacks on allies of the United States and Israel. Barrot listing Saudi Arabia, the UAE, that's the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Iraq, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman and Jordan as countries dragged into the conflict by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. He said France is committed to help defend them. Well, let's hear the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. We'll be going to Keir Starmer in a second. Let's bring in first, to get more reaction to that particular European aspect of this story, Dave Keating, who is our Brussels correspondent. Dave, great to have you with us. We are in a fast-moving situation. We're just learning about Israel and its army striking the Iranian military intelligence officers in Tehran. The thing to find out, I think, from yourself is the situation regarding France, its commitment to try to help defend a whole list of nations that Jean-Noël Barrot has spoken about that could be dragged into this whole conflict by Iran's Revolutionary Guard and its retaliation tactics to the strikes by the US and Israel. They also issued the other issue as well to look at, I think, is the situation regarding the nuclear deterrent, a new combination between France, Germany, the UK, outside the EU, but very much part of the equation. Where is that going? David, over to you. Start with what you have first.
Yeah, as the day has gone on, it's become increasingly clear that Europe is very likely to get dragged into this conflict. And it all started at midnight overnight when we have this drone attack on the island of Cyprus by Iran. So Iran is now attacking an EU member state. This took place at the British Air Force Base there in Cyprus. There are two sovereign territories of the UK, exclaves of the UK, which host military bases there, and one was attacked at midnight last night by Iran. Now, this is very alarming for Cyprus, which is within missile range of Iran, as are three other EU countries, Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania. And Cyprus right now holds the rotating presidency of the EU Council. It's supposed to be hosting meetings and summits of prime ministers and ministers over the next 4 months. And in fact, today, a summit of EU foreign ministers was supposed to take place there in Cyprus. They had to cancel that this morning. It actually left some of the ministers stranded there because they had already arrived. But there's real concern about Cyprus now being in the crosshairs. A general in the Iranian government told Iranian media that if used Cyprus as a fair attack territory, specifically the British bases in Cyprus, because it believes that American military assets that are being used to attack Iran are there on those British bases in Cyprus. Now, Keir Starmer, speaking to the British Parliament just a little while ago, denied that accusation, said that yes, while he has just given the okay for the Diego Garcia UK military base to be used by the Americans to attack Iran in specific circumstances, he said they are not allowing the Americans to use those bases in Cyprus, and therefore he believes that they are not fair targets. But what's become clear is that Iran does not see a distinction between the Gulf countries and the European countries who are not actively bombing them. It just sees American allies who, in many cases, are at least using the American bases there in those territories to transfer aircraft to staging posts to attack Iran. So what's become clear to Europe today is that they are going to be a target, that Iran doesn't really care if they say they're not involved in this, they're not directly attacking Iran. From Iran's perspective, they are American allies, they are helping America in this effort, at least implicitly, and therefore they're fair game. That has a lot of people here really spooked. Quick word on the nuclear announcement today. That was a long-planned announcement. It was unclear whether France would go ahead, President Macron would go ahead with that announcement because of everything going on, but this would basically expand France's nuclear umbrella deterrent out to other European countries. The idea is to reduce reliance on the United States so that Europe is not only reliant on the American nuclear umbrella.
Dave, I've been granted more time, so please indulge me with this one. We've heard word from Britain, from France, that they weren't aware that this was going to happen, that the attacks, that it wasn't cleared with them. Is that disingenuous, or do we really believe that Donald Trump did this without speaking to his, in inverted commas, allies?
I think that's the big question because we've had very contradictory statements about this. So people in the government in Germany and Poland said that they were informed, but France, the UK, Italy say they were not informed. In fact, Italy was so in the dark about this that the defense minister went on vacation to Dubai Friday night, hours before the attack started, and then got stranded there. He had to be evacuated by a Italian military vessel, I believe. So it's very confusing now who was told and who wasn't told, and why certain countries were told, they say, and other countries weren't told. But I think that the big picture here is Iran, and I think much of the rest of the world, just does not believe the Gulf states and the European allies of America when they say, we have nothing to do with this, please don't attack us, we're neutral. They do not view them as neutral. They view them as collaborating with the Americans in this effort. Don't forget that all of those planes, a lot of those planes that are there right now around Iran were transferred via bases here in Europe. And actually, that's the reason why today Spain expelled the Americans from their military bases. They said any equipment, any planes that are being used to attack Iran are violating international law, and they have to leave. And those aircraft did leave the Spanish bases today. But where did they go? Probably just to other bases in Europe, in Britain, in Germany, in Italy. They are fostering the transfer of those military equipment over to Iran. So the leaders are saying they have nothing to do with this. They're completely not involved. But in truth, they are American allies. And we know that at least those bases were used in the transfer of military assets over to the area of Iran over the past weeks.
Dave Keating, as always, thank you very much indeed. Dave Keating, our Brussels correspondent.